Hi, welcome back to the Spirit Lounge. How are you guys doing? I'm out beside the pool today. It's a beautiful day. Even though it's wintry, it's a beautiful day. There's a pool behind me, as you can see. It's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit and low 20s, I think that is. But it's a lovely day, so enjoying it outside. So I wanted to do this off the cuff, unplanned video from outside today to get some fresh air. And sort of talk about a couple of things that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and I've discussed with others over the many years, on and off. And I just want to talk about three human systems or human principles that I see as spiritual beings, and as we perceive each other as spiritual beings and start perceiving each other from our heart, that we've degraded and marginalized to what I call isms. Well, let's go into what we are first, then we'll step into those principles, and then we'll talk about the isms and the impact upon those. So what is it we're talking about? So we are, as we discuss on our videos, we are spiritual beings. We are infinite love and grace. We come from grace, we return to grace. And our purpose here is to manifest grace in our lives and bring balance into the world through love, peace, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, harmony, unity, oneness, achieved through our inner selves first, to our inner selves, and through that we'll achieve unity and all of those things externally with each other. To see each other as spiritual beings, as fractals of light, of source, of grace, having experiences here for their own infinite, divine, unique purpose, governed by karma, the forces of karma, and possessing free will to do whatever it is that we wish to do with our lives, and direct them to our purpose or to other avenues of experience away from our purpose, or a mix of both, to innovate, to create abundance and prosperity, and give to the world something beautiful. That is always our intention of everyone. And many of us digress and go to other paths of experience, into more negative vibrations and frequencies. But the purpose is to elevate into the frequency of source, of God, of divine oneness, of unity, of all it is. Some people call it the universe, call it whatever you wish. It's to elevate ourselves into a higher frequency and become grace whilst in form, surrounded by brutal duality of imbalance, of disunity, war, greed, famine, destruction, separation, racial separation, cultural separation, identity politics, gender politics, whatever you want to call them, ideologies and movements around us. We discuss how they can, if we absorb ourselves into the human matrix, these can be our governors, these can be our guides, and they will move us through life. Alternatively, we can move into our inner sense of state of grace and allow Source, God, our divine inner self, our spirit, which gives a warm embrace to the heart as unified one energy, guiding ourselves in our purpose and allowing us to move forward in a life, unfolding our true purpose, our intent, and also allowing and guiding our adventure, what we create, innovate, and abundance around us. Now, as we see each other through these eyes, through the eyes of the inner self, the true being, which is the fractal of grace, of the one, all that is, and all that we are, the divine, we should see each other as the same. We should see each other through that heart-centered state. This is love. This is what we call love. This isn't the human love between a man and each other, one another, our partners. This is grace. This is divine love. This is love where we see each other as graceful beings who deserve the same start in life, the same principles, human services, I call them, humanisms if you like, to stick with isms, for each other. Now, those three principles that I have, that we should be seeing each other as needing and have a divine right because we give them to each other through our hearts, and we perceive these things through our hearts, are these three things. The first thing being the divine right to be cared for when ill. This simple thing. When we're ill, we want to be cared for, want to be nurtured and loved and healed, so we can go back out into this world and create and rejoin our adventure, rediscover our purpose or not, follow divergent paths or not, to do things for this world and leave a beautiful footprint for ourselves, our children, our families, the world. So that's ultimately what we all want, fundamentally. To be cared for when we're ill, to have health, to be able to look after our bodies, and when they suffer an illness or when we suffer an issue in life that needs, where we need medical assistance, that it's there for us. We don't have to worry about whether we can afford it, whether we're at the right status, whether we can go to the right hospitals, whether we can even go to the doctor or even afford a visit, whether we can even afford medication or alternative therapies to help us heal. Number two is the right to have an education for all as a foundation of life to achieve our dreams and what we want in life. These are the things, this is a very simple thing, education, to be taught, to have a foundation of learning throughout this world, for every spiritual being that enters it, to have the same start as you and I, our parents, our families, the people we love, and those strangers in the street who we should see through our hearts, deserve the same start in life. A quality education, a quality start in life, fundamental start in life as a spiritual being just like you and I, to form their adventures, create prosperity and abundance and innovation and whatever they wish through their hearts and their minds can imagine. But have that education so they can have that foundation in life. Number three, a safety net for people. Remember, we live in a duality. We live in a free will, brutal duality of ego, of greed, of narcissism, of injustice and war and money and status. We separate ourselves continually through these and many other things. This duality and the free will decisions we all make, we discussed in other videos, will mean that the lives of others will be affected by their own free will decisions, whether wise or not, or the free will decisions of others when you digress from your chosen path and you go to divergent paths. You have the imposition of others' free will, and the random effects of the world and the events that happen through the free will of yourself and others will impact you more than if you're on a non-divergent path and you're following that which you came here to fulfill. Which means that some of us will get into trouble. Some of us will lose the abundance and prosperity that we have developed. Some of us will lose our jobs. Some of us will lose our homes. Some of us will not have any money to put food on the table, to put a roof over our heads. Some of us may end up on the street. Our children may not be able to have 2 meals a day. We may not be able to earn enough money in our jobs to raise a family. This is the foundation, a foundation of service where each human being knows that there's a bottom level to which they won't be going beyond, where their lives won't have to drop below, because there is a safety net, a social safety net, if you like. A human service to protect our fellow human beings and to give them a safety net where they can be protected and know that no matter what happens, even if their dreams and plans are not fulfilled and some calamitous event impacts their lives, that they're not going to end up on the streets, and that they can put food on the table for themselves and their loved ones. That there's a system, there's a human system, a human service that we have created with our hearts and offer to another human being if they need it. Yes, of course, we live in a duality, so people will abuse all of these three things. and not take advantage of any of them, dismiss them. But we're living in a world where every life, every spirit is on a different level, different path in their journey. We're not all the same. They're not all going to watch these videos. Some of them are going to be completely absorbed in the human theatre, and that will be their only perception. Some will go to crime, some will be lazy, some will do A, B or C that we don't like. That's not the point. The point is, if we're truly going to be spiritual beings, and we claim this, if we're truly going to be allowing our spirit to rise, to join in unity with our hearts, then those three human services, humanisms, human principles of physical life, that we should be seeing each other as having a divine right for, because they are things of the heart. They are services of the heart. They are human services to be cared for when ill, to have a right of an education and a foundation for life just like everybody else, and a safety net in case things happen, that people are not left on the streets, so we don't just walk past them shivering in a tent somewhere, living under a bridge, begging for food. This is the duality of the human experience that we can fix by going and joining our heart and seeing them as spiritual beings, just like you and I, in a different avatar, surrounded by their own tendencies of the past, unresolved nature. Instead, what we've done, we've relegated these to capitalism, socialism, Marxism, communism. We've relegated them to these isms, into this political pantomime and the human theatre. I've seen even spiritual people out there promote very spiritual practices and talk about love. And on the second breath, they'll demonize healthcare for everyone. They'll demonize a good education for all. They'll demonize a social protection system to protect us all, because we all could end up in this situation at any time, because they also embrace the isms. The isms don't belong in grace. The isms don't belong in our heart, and they absolutely are not a formation of source. They are a creation of humanity, used to separate us, used to create ideologies and movements underneath, which we can absorb into. They can engulf us, they can take us, or we can form a different path, a path where we truly are seeing each other as infinite beings, and we see these things as services that come from the heart and the spirit. Divine human services that, if we're truly going to elevate into the frequency of love and claim that we are touching source, that we are of God, that we are of divinity, that we are unified and one on this planet, not just words. Unity and oneness and love are not just words. They are things we should demonstrate through action externally and change our perceptions of how we see things. I don't watch TV, I don't listen to newspapers, I don't follow ideologies. They're meaningless things. They'll be around forever. They won't change. They'll simply become worse, and as we follow them more and more and more, the duality we experience will become worse. It will not become better. As in the last video, we'll be assisted in our individual lives of change if we truly move towards our heart and our soul, our spirit, the light within. Make it a flame. Allow it to embrace your heart. Don't be fearful of it. Don't be fearful of changing perceptions of the past, of dropping the human isms, communism, socialism, Marxism, capitalism, all the belief structures and ideologies around them that fix how we see things. It's important we know that we are one on this earth. We are one in this human experience, and we are one before it, we will one after it. We will be one after it. We go to the same place and we came from the same place. Services are not relegated to political belief systems. Things that support the human experience are of the heart. They're for us to create, they're for us to share. I'm living in the United States, the most capitalist place on earth, where the things I've discussed are demonized as communist and bad or socialist, whatever they are. They don't interest me. They're human things, the human things of the heart. I was born in a country where those things exist and are balanced with capitalism, although the populace in the United Kingdom where I was born are allowing those things to be slowly destroyed around them as they obsess about all the other ideologies, movements and isms that surround them. The slow destruction of these human things, these human services that I've described, of love, to be cared for when ill, and education for everyone, to have a foundation of life to achieve what they came here to achieve, and a safety net where people can be protected from going below. So we don't see people on the street with no food, no shelter. So if children can have 3 square meals a day, it's a minimum income for people. A roof over their heads like everyone deserves. These things we should see and experience and understand they're for all of us, and it's for us to make sure that they are. We'll only be able to do this when we see these things through our hearts and we vibrate the frequency of love and God and source and divine. The frequency of all that is does not separate, does not use isms. It simply allows us through free will to create the experience we want for each other and individually. This world will be what we create it to be. We need to make it what we want it to be. Force it through your hearts. Don't bring in through your actions in the material space those that will destroy those very three human services that I've described, because they are expressions of love. They're expressions of unity and oneness with each other, empathy to each other. It's empathy. We've lost empathy and love and unity. Stop putting in systems and people. Cease. We need to cease doing this. Systems and people that destroy the very things that are expressions of grace from within us, externally to others. And those things are many things. Can be many things, but they absolutely are demonstrated in the 3 principles of human life that we should be giving and supporting to each other. So I hope this video makes sense, and I'd love to hear your comments on this, because it's really important that we see each other as one. Because when we see each other as one, these principles, human services that I've described, and we truly are of our hearts, not just saying it, we truly see each other as beings. We don't have to like what each other do. We don't have to go around with kumbaya embraces of everyone in the street. That's just that's not reality. There's a brutal reality to us, and it's our hearts. If we truly want to express ourselves as spiritual beings, embracing love, not just talking about it, then I would ask you guys to reflect closely those 3 human services and principles that I've described. We all have to give so that everyone feels love on this planet. We're all going to have to give love from within, but also something physical to allow it to be created in a physical space. So thanks again for listening, and please like and subscribe and share to anyone who you think would benefit from these videos. And again, I thank anyone who's inclined to buy the book. Again, truly appreciate those who spend their hard-earned money to read things that I write and may write in the future. And I hope you like the scene behind me. The sun's going down, it's setting behind the building. So I'll close the video and say thank you again for listening, and love to you all. Thank you. Bye.